what I'm going to do. And I'm looking at the news every single day, and every time it looks like there's a little glimmer of hope that a deal might be made, somebody snatches the rug out from under you, and they're like, no, it's not going to happen.
Wow.
Good Lord. I mean, these are grown people. They all get to keep their paycheck.
Sure.
Yep.
They all get their income.
And
So
bonuses.
why don't they go a month without getting paid and see how much they start screaming and hollering? It's not just us federal employees that are screaming and hollering. It's the whole nation. And if I'm sorry to say, if Trump thinks this is okay,
Sure.
it really, really isn't.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. That's
So it's really, really frustrating.
Wow. Well, let me ask you a question. Now, I hear the frustration in your voice. Do you also talk to your coworkers? And if so, how often do you guys talk, or do you just find that adds to the frustration?
No, we talk a couple of times a week, but it's mostly through text. Some of them have indicated they're going to start looking for other employment, and some of them have been on the job longer than I have.
Wow.
So
Wow.
you mean to tell me after 20, 25, 30 years on the job, you got to start looking for another job? How do I do that? I don't even know where to begin to interview for a new job because it's been so long since I have.
Wow. And so, Felicia, this is where you are a gem for us. What? You know, what should our Carla do? And people like our Carla who have been there for
Years.
decades, 10, 15, 20, 25 years and more. And now they're looking at, you're at a point where you have nothing coming in the house. This is it. And some people are fortunate that their spouses have jobs and they have a few dollars in their savings and other things. But what about that employee who doesn't have those types of luxuries, or even though they have it, just the whole self-esteem thing, like I'm not getting paid, I'm not contributing? What do you recommend to them?
So, I mean, it's such a tough situation, and thankfully my husband and I were together. It's a team effort, but like if you're alone, I completely understand the frustration. So what I suggest is start freelancing so you can think about the skills that you already have. So
Okay, wait a minute. Explain what you mean by freelancing for those that may not understand that.
Okay, so freelancing is basically taking your skills and leveraging them. And so, for example, I'll use virtual assistants as an example. So people that conduct business online, they like to have virtual assistants. Virtual assistants can do a whole plethora of things. So let's just start with general admin work. So you could set your rate of $25, $30 an hour and help somebody through virtual assistants. That might be cleaning up their email box, running their social media, all sorts of things online, and do it virtually. The way I got started when I started this, I became a social media manager. So I manage social media platforms for business owners, and that's actually still something that I do. Like I'll manage Twitter and stuff. So if you're in a position of you need to make a side income, this is a resource that's available to you because you can start today. And I always tell people, if you see a gig online, say somebody is looking for MailChimp, for example, that was one of the job postings on the hire form. I told them, it's like, YouTube is your best friend. Go to YouTube and figure it out, because I knew when I saw the job posting, it's actually pretty straightforward. You can learn it through YouTube. So go to YouTube and see what you can do, see what you can learn, because YouTube is a plethora of information. So just getting started and deciding what you want to try, and then do the research and learn as much as you can. If you can purchase a course, great. If you can't, you can, Google can be your friend in your school to learn how to do a new skill. So either leverage what you got and what you know already, or learn a new skill and then start offering that to people.
Now, it might not be as easy as it sounds for folks who are a little more seasoned, or for someone that's just coming out of college that sort of has limited life experiences. So
I have some tips for the college.
Yes.
students.
So for that demographic, What are your thoughts? And then I want to get our caller in.
Yeah, so that was actually something that crossed my mind because I realized since I've been doing it for so long, like I'm talking way up here, and people are like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! What on earth are you talking about?" So that's why I'm doing the trainings within the group to really break it down. So a couple of trainings I've already done is how to create an invoice, how to charge somebody, different softwares that you can use. Tonight, I already promised in the group that I'm going to walk them through step by step how to create a pricing sheet for whatever you choose to offer people. And then I've also talked about visibility, putting it on your social media and asking friends and family if they're looking for somebody and to share it with their communities as well. So I really try to break it down as much as possible. And in that group that I have, I tell people, ask me questions because I don't know what you don't know. So ask questions and I'll do those trainings because I can pump out trainings pretty quick. So
sure.
That's what I'm doing in that group to break it down because I do realize it probably sounds complicated to people.
Right. Oh, that's awesome.
So in essence, you know, I always call it plug yourself. When at the end of the show, you can put all of your information out there. But in essence, if people are listening right now and they're interested, can they contact you to do this training?
Yeah, they can contact me and I'll forward them the information for the group, and that's where I'm housing all the videos. It's just easier
to
have all the videos in that group, and then they can go through at their leisure when they have time and learn as much as they can.
Wow. And let me again remind our callers, please feel free to call us at 702-425-7789. That's 702-425-7789, or you can chat with us live. We'd love to hear your comments. Let's get back to our caller.
Oh, I wanted to say something really quick to my college students out there. Because if you're like me, you know, I know a lot of my peers applied for federal internships. And a lot of times these internships are supposed to be paid. They go during the summer. They put them, I mean, we live in Nevada, so a lot of the federal internships are in Washington, D.C., so often they'll have the students come out there, put them up somewhere, and have them do that. And students like myself have had the entire process put on hold. I've also had peers who got accepted into their programs, and they were told that they were not going to be accepted. Well, they were accepted, but they couldn't come this summer because they didn't have the funds for it. So they have to wait until next summer. So just piggybacking on the whole social media aspect, if there are people my age who are struggling with this as well, just in that aspect, because I know how it feels to, you know, like at this point you're accepted into this program, you're putting everything on hold because you're ready to go to DC over the summer. Definitely, I feel like my generation are the kings and queens of finding monetary opportunities through social media. So if that's what's happening to you, start that YouTube, because that YouTube money is some great money. One thing that I've been doing is I braided my hair, and now everywhere I go on campus, people are asking me who did my hair. I say me. So doing stuff like that, braid some hair, cook some food, some homemade food, and sell it plate by plate, because you would be surprised how many college students are dying for a homemade meal that you can make in the common kitchens at the dorms and stuff like that. I think at this point, everybody from college students to as the chief says, the seasoned people have to kind of tap into those creative methods and tap into those skills that, okay, like I haven't done this in a while, but now is the time where it's like, okay, got to do what you got to do. So definitely tap in and see where your creativity can take over, and you can benefit from that, because one of the fastest ways to make money is to offer a unique service. And if you can get that out there fast enough via social media, or going to church and making an announcement to the congregation, or going to places where you meet with people, an exercise group, whatever, and just kind of advertising your product or your skill, that's one of the biggest ways to at least get that steady pocket money. So There you go.
All right. That was the public service announcement from the millennials. So getting back to our caller, I know that you were talking about just the angst that you feel every time you see the politicians on the phone and they're talking, I mean, not on the phone, but on the television, and you're reading about it and other ways you get your information, and how much angst you feel about that. Kind of walk through, if you don't mind, if we're not getting too personal, how you found out about everything that was going on officially. How you found out that, yes, we are now going to go into the furlough mode. Did you also receive that controversial letter that was asking people to offer to do things like cut the grass of your apartment complex and all that kind of stuff? Kind of walk us through that.
That ridiculous letter?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Talk about that.
I got that too.
What?
Yeah, I got that letter, but the way I found out was, so I watched the news first, but then my boss sent me and 5 other members of the team a text message basically saying, make sure you send stop work notices to all your contractors that are working on your projects. So fortunately, I have, high-end projects, and I didn't have to send out too many letters, but it was still, since I knew we were already shut down, I was already out for the day, and so I had to hurry up and scramble back home to put my letters together to get them out to my contractors so they would know not to show up. The funny part is, before the government shut down, I had a project posted advertising for a project in Salt Lake City. And before the shutdown, my announcement indicated that a site visit was going to be held on, I forgot what day it was, like the 13th or 14th of January. And do you know, I still had contractors calling me on that day asking if there was still going to be a site visit. And I'm like, have you not been watching the news? The government is shut down.
Wow.
Nobody's at the office. Oh, well, because I don't see any security guards here. And you're not going to see any security guards there. So not only are the federal employees affected, but even like the security guards who are not federal employees, they're affected.
Wow.
So this is affecting not just federal workers. It's affecting all the other people that support federal workers. So even your private industry construction workers, they're completely impacted by this, which means even after the federal government reopens and all federal employees are called back to work and we get our back pay, all those contractors are going to send notices to all their agencies and say, look, we were shut down for 30 days, 40 days, you owe us this amount of money. So it's going to be a lot more money being paid out to even those contractors. So
when they finally do announce whether or not they are going to open up the federal government, let's say they open it up tomorrow, hopefully, that would be great. Yeah. Are you even in the mindset that you want to continue working there? Have you sort of said to yourself, you know what, I'm going to start looking around for something a little more stable? This used to be stability when you said federal government, but certainly I just can't imagine you are not, it's one thing to be laid off, but it's another thing to have somebody say, oh, by the way, you're furloughed, but I expect to see you at work bright and early Monday morning.
Or else.
Oh, right. Yeah, and I feel so bad for TSA workers and air traffic controllers because they're considered essential employees. They have to show up regardless. So even though they're furloughed, it's not like they can sit at home and watch the news and see what's going on. They have to be at their post.
Wow.
So even though as reluctant as I am to say, yeah, I'll go back to work, I'm going to have to, but I am starting to look and see, what my skill set, what kind of job I can get with my skill set. Because like I said, I've been doing this job a long, long time. And it's hard to imagine going to another, even private industry to do what I do.
Sure.
Well, One of the things that I wanted to know is, I know earlier you had mentioned how one of the aspects